Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got a very interesting lesson for you all about building your vocabulary. So we're trying to describe personalities. You're going to learn tons of new words.
Exactly, and as you said, we're going to describe people's personalities, so not their physical attributes. We're going to concentrate on how they are in personality-wise and stuff like that.
Their character.
That's right.
So let's take a listen to today's dialogue for the first time, and we'll be back in a moment to talk about some of these great words.
Okay, class, settle down. I have the results of your individual personality tests. I am going to hand them out, and if you'd like, you can read them out loud to the rest of the class.
I'll read mine.
Okay, go ahead.
It says here that I am adventurous, outgoing, and easygoing. It says that I'm a little superstitious and occasionally naive. That's not true.
Well, the test isn't 100% accurate. Is that all it says?
No. It also says that I'm open-minded with great ambition, but that I can also be reckless and clumsy. This is stupid.
Okay. Anyone else want to read theirs?
I'll go. It says that I'm an extroverted, well-balanced person. It says I am generous, outspoken, and very diligent. This is so true. It also says that I am a magnanimous, eloquent, and daring. This is totally me.
Whatever. These tests are baloney.
All right, we're back. So we're going to divide this up into language takeaway parts 1 and 2. So let's start with 5 keywords now on language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first adjective that came up was adventurous and outgoing. Outgoing, that's a good one.
Outgoing is a great one. So you think of the word out. That means moving out, going out. Outgoing means someone is very comfortable talking to strangers or talking to people that they don't know very well. For example, my brother is very outgoing. He loves meeting new people. He loves starting conversations with strangers.
So the opposite would be shy.
That's
right.
That's
the opposite. Okay, so outgoing. And then it also described this person as being a little superstitious.
Okay, superstitious is very interesting because it's hard to describe since everyone's superstitions are different. In many cultures, there are different superstitions. So, for example, in America, we say that walking under a ladder is bad luck. Okay, or opening an umbrella inside is bad luck. So if you believe that your actions will bring you bad luck, you're probably superstitious.
Okay, very good. So if you are superstitious, you believe in superstitions.
That's right. So, Marco, are you superstitious? Do you
No.
think that black cats bring bad luck?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
Interesting.
All right. And this is also an interesting word, a way to describe people who are very believing, a person that is naive.
Okay, you said this already. Naive means that someone generally believes most things that you tell them.
Right.
So if I told you, Marco, hey, did you know that it's supposed to rain frogs tomorrow?
No way. Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, no.
If Marco believes me, he's naive.
Right.
That means that, probably not going to rain frogs tomorrow,
right.
but he believes everything I say, so he's a little bit naive or
Naive.
inexperienced.
So naive is not really a bad way of describing a person, is it?
No, but it can be. So you want to be careful. Some people, if you say that they're being naive, it's offensive. So you have to be careful when you say this.
Okay. Moving on, we also had an interesting adjective that described another person, and it was to be reckless. I can also be reckless.
Reckless. Okay, so someone who is reckless often does things without thinking, sometimes things that are dangerous. For example, Marco, I think that driving a car without wearing your seatbelt is very reckless. Okay, that means that you're not thinking about safety.
Right. So a person that is reckless is kind of a synonym of being a little bit dangerous to be around.
That's right. Or someone who does things without thinking about their consequences, their results.
Okay. And also, along with reckless, the test said that this person was clumsy.
Oh, I love this word. There was a very famous commercial when I was growing up in America on the television. It was all about young students at high school who are clumsy, and so they should buy this special folder for their schoolwork to help them because they're so clumsy.
And they're dropping their papers and their books.
Exactly. So someone who is clumsy often falls down or hits their head or trips or drops their things. If I drop something on the floor and break it, my mother might say, "You're so clumsy.
Clumsy fingers.
You should be more careful."
Yeah. So clumsy, is this insulting if you say, "Oh, you're so clumsy"?
No, it's not so bad.
Okay.
There are worse things to say. But if someone often drops things, you can call them clumsy. Or you can also say, "You're such a butterfingers."
Butterfingers.
That means that
yeah.
your fingers are like butter. They're very slippery. You drop everything.
Okay. So clumsy and reckless, they are negative adjectives, right? They're saying that you do things wrong. So it's not really a good thing to be reckless or clumsy.
No, it's not really a good thing. These are not positive characteristics.
Okay, good. So we took a look at those 5, which are very good about one of the people that took the test. Let's move on now to more language and more adjectives on Language Takeaway Part 2.
Language takeaway.
All right, so in this part, we're going to take a look at positive attributes about a person, right? They're all good things about someone.
That's right. And this first one is very good. Extroverted. Extroverted.
A person that's extroverted.
So a synonym of this word is outgoing.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing.
That's right, because extro means going out. Out. So in this case, someone who is extroverted often meets new people, goes out and does social things, goes to the movies, goes out with friends, meets strangers, talks to strangers. Again, it's like being outgoing. Someone who's comfortable with new people.
And what about the opposite? So we said that shy is the opposite of outgoing. What would be the opposite for extroverted?
Extroverted's opposite is introverted. Intro means in, not
Okay.
out. So that means someone who's very shy, who is uncomfortable with new people.
Okay. And, well, apart from being extroverted, the test also said that this person is very diligent.
Ooh, diligent is a great word. This is a word you want to hear from your teachers and your bosses. Okay, if someone says, "Marco, you are very diligent at work,"
What does that mean?
it means you're very careful. You always do things very thoroughly.
And also quickly, right? When you tell them to do something, they do it immediately.
That's right. So a diligent worker always does a good job and does it in a timely manner.
Okay. And moving on to our third adjective. This one is kind of strange. It kind of sounds like monogamy, but it's magnanimous.
Magnanimous.
All right.
Magnanimous. This is a great word. We hear this a lot in the newspaper or on TV about usually famous people. He did something very magnanimous, or it was a magnanimous gesture. This describes a person who does things for the benefit of other people. Someone who is thinking about the well-being and the health and the lives of others.
So it would be a person that likes to share, or a person that's not selfish.
Right. So if you donate half of your salary this month to victims of an earthquake, I would say, Marco, that's so magnanimous of you. You're so magnanimous.
Okay. Awesome. And apart from being magnanimous, if a person is eloquent, I guess that's also a positive attribute.
Oh, yeah. This is another really good one. Someone who is eloquent is a very good speaker. Okay. This means that when they talk, they sound very, very good.
Okay.
You know, someone who's eloquent uses big words, but is also very good at making other people listen.
Okay. So it's usually about speaking. So you would say he's an eloquent speaker.
That's right. So someone who is eloquent is fun or good or interesting to listen to.
Okay. And our last description for personalities and the way people are is a person that's daring.
Well, this can be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on who you're talking about. Because sometimes daring people are also reckless. And this can be dangerous.
Okay.
But sometimes someone who is daring can be doing good things, like a daring business person might take risks that other people don't take.
Okay, so a person that's daring dares to take risks, right?
You are very daring. You, Marco, are daring because recently you jumped out of an airplane,
Yeah.
right? You did some skydiving.
So that would be considered daring.
That's very daring. I'm not daring like that because I would never jump out of an airplane.
Right. Okay. So we took a look at basically 10 key words here, a lot of adjectives, but they're a great way to describe yourself. Maybe if you're at a job interview, sometimes a typical question is, how would you describe yourself using 3 adjectives?
I'm extroverted, I'm diligent, and I'm open-minded.
Yeah, that's awesome. See? You sound really professional when you say things
Give
like
me the
this.
job.
Yeah, exactly. So, and even if you took a look at some of the negative adjectives that we used, it's also a typical job interview question is like, what are your biggest faults? So you can say, well, maybe I am superstitious and naive, right?
You wouldn't want to say that
in a job interview. But I mean, I don't know, maybe. Because you have to say something, right?
You do, but I would say sometimes I'm a bit too daring, or sometimes I take things personally. We can talk about that another time. But I think for now, it'd be good if we listen to today's dialogue one more time and really got a good sense of how to use these words.
Okay, class, settle down. I have the results of your individual personality tests. I am going to hand them out, and if you'd like, you can read them out loud to the rest of the class.
I'll read mine.
Okay, go ahead.
It says here that I am adventurous, outgoing, and easygoing. It says that I'm a little superstitious and occasionally naive. That's not true.
Well, the test isn't 100% accurate. Is that all it says?
No. It also says that I'm open-minded with great ambition, but that I can also be reckless and clumsy. This is stupid.
Okay. Anyone else want to read theirs?
I'll go. It says that I'm an extroverted, well-balanced person. It says I am generous, outspoken, and very diligent. This is so true. It also says that I am a magnanimous, eloquent, and daring. This is totally me.
Whatever. These tests are baloney.
All right, we're back. So now going into descriptions. What are 3 adjectives that you would use to describe someone that you hate the most? So going back to describing people, how would you describe one of the main things that really irritate you about someone? Maybe if they are clumsy, it really bothers you that people are clumsy, or reckless maybe.
I see what you're saying. Well, I really like extroverted, hardworking people. But in English, we have a word to describe someone who is too extroverted, too hardworking. And we call this person a type A personality. Type A.
Type A.
The letter A. And this means someone who works very, very hard, who is very, very serious, but who's always anxious, always needs to get things done, right? And so these people can be very hard to work with because they're controlling and they're never calm.
So
right?
they're not easygoing.
No, they're not easygoing. They always want to do what they want to do. They're usually not very good listeners. And so this type A personality is something that I would say I'm not a big fan of at work or even when we're going out because,
friends.
with friends, it's hard to be around someone who always has to control you.
This is very interesting, and I'm sure our listeners have a lot of different ways to describe things that irritate them, maybe about people, or maybe attributes that they really admire about someone.
That's right. And I want to give everybody a little bit of homework today. Go home, or if you're at home, look up a word in the dictionary that describes yourself.
Yeah,
An
that's a good one.
adjective to describe yourself. I think this is a really good homework assignment because you'll be improving your vocabulary, and then put it on our website, englishpod.com. Let us know more about you.
Okay, we'll see everyone there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Ignorant, naive, having or showing no regard for danger. Reckless, be careless, lack in skill, or physical coordinate. Clumsy. Easy to entertain new ideas. Open-minded. Be quiet. Settle down. Showing faith in magic or chance ignorant of laws. Superstitious. A person concerned more with practical realities. Extrovert. Express yourself clearly and effectively. Eloquent.
Let's try that faster.
Easy to entertain new ideas. Open-minded. Showing faith in magic or chance ignorant of laws. Superstitious. Having or showing no regard for danger. Reckless. Express yourself clearly and effectively. Eloquent. Be careless, lacking skill or physical coordinate. Clumsy. Ignorant. Naive. A person concerned more with practical realities. Extrovert. Be quiet. Settle down.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Naive. Jake is so naive. He believes anything you tell him. Naive. Many websites try to take advantage of naive people. Naive. Stop being so naive. You cannot believe everything you see on TV. Reckless. Stanley was arrested for reckless driving. Reckless. You are so reckless. You have to be more careful. Reckless. My wife was reckless with our finances, and so now we are broke. Open-minded. I always keep an open mind towards trying new things. Open-minded. I think Europeans are more open-minded than Latin Americans. Open-minded. Shirley is a very open-minded girl. You can talk to her about anything. Clumsy. I am so clumsy. I accidentally hit my head with the door. Clumsy. He is very clumsy. He is always dropping things. Clumsy. I can't hold delicate things in my hands. I have clumsy fingers. Eloquent. He has an eloquent way of speaking. Eloquent. The priest gave an eloquent sermon about love today. Eloquent. He made a very eloquent speech over dinner today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. Welcome back, everyone. So what are we talking about today, Marco?
We are going to the flower shop.
Okay, so this is an intermediate level lesson, and we're going to be learning about the different kinds of flowers you can buy at a flower shop. And so we've got a guy here who's probably trying to say something to someone he loves.
Yeah, I think he did something to his girlfriend or wife. And, well, that's the typical thing, right? You do something wrong, so you got to get her flowers.
And that's why women are often very nervous when their husband or boyfriend gives them flowers, because she's thinking,
what did
he do wrong?
All right, so let's listen to the dialogue and we'll be back soon.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right, we're back. So what do you think? Is this really like a bad thing to do?
Heck yeah.
No, really?
Well, no one wants to hear that someone thinks they're fat. Okay, and chubby is maybe not as bad as fat, but the guy could have been a little bit nicer.
All right, so we'll give our listeners some advice towards the end of the lesson. So now why don't we take a look at all the flower names in Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
Okay, this first flower is a beautiful one, and it has delicious seeds that people like to eat. It's called a sunflower.
A sunflower. All right, so that's a yellow flower, right?
It's bright yellow, and in the middle is orange, and the stems are very, very long.
And
so
thick.
And thick. So it's a tall flower.
Okay, sunflower. And yeah, as you mentioned, some people eat sunflower seeds. They're like the little salty ones, right?
That's right. They're really good.
All right, next is an orchid.
Okay, an orchid is a beautiful flower, and they're often grown just one at a time. And people collect orchids, so these can be very, very expensive.
They're very expensive.
And they
right?
come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Okay, an orchid. Now what about a tulip?
A tulip is another pretty flower, and I think they're most famous in Holland for their tulips, because this actually used to be the kind of money that they would use. This was their currency for many years. So
They used to use tulips.
they used to use tulips, and the tulip flower is kind of like it's like a champagne glass. It's tall and it's kind of empty in the middle.
Wow, that's interesting. So next time somebody says, do you think money grows on trees? In Holland, it literally did.
Well, yeah,
Almost.
almost.
All right. What about a carnation?
Okay, a carnation is another pretty flower, and they come, I think, in red, pink, and white.
Yeah, I've mostly seen white carnations.
Yeah, and flower giving, there's a whole
Definition.
method to it, right? So yeah, every flower is symbolic of something. Red roses are for love, and carnations, I think, are generally
Friendship?
for either friendship or like when someone dies. I'm not sure.
Or
But
you can give them to
when someone
somebody.
has passed away.
Really?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But carnation is another very, very common flower that you'll see in many different colors.
Okay. And the next flower is also really common. It's a lily.
All right, a lily is a beautiful flower, and usually you see these on water. So water lilies, for example, is another name you might hear.
Okay, a water lily or just a regular lily. And next we have the most common of all the flowers, but we've added a little twist to it. It's a long stem rose.
Right, so rose everyone knows. So rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Shakespeare wrote a lot about roses, but in this case, we're talking about long stem roses, and we talked about this with sunflowers. The stem is the green part that grows out of the ground, and you think of the flower as the head. And so the stem is actually the connector between the ground and the flower.
Okay, so these types of roses have a really long stem, so they're very nice to like maybe give one of them away or something.
That's right, and you see, for example, at the opera, you see singers. People throw these roses at them, and they pick them up, and they're so long. The stems are so long, and they collect them in their arms. And so that's a long stem rose.
All right, interesting. Okay, why don't we listen to our dialogue for the second time? Let's keep a lookout for these flower names and their pronunciation, and we'll come back in a little bit.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations, and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's going to cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right, we're back. So in this dialogue, we had a lot of interesting phrases. So let's look at them now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
A lot of these phrases, Marco, have to do with, well, what the guy did wrong in
Right.
today's dialogue. And so the first one is to cheat on.
So the woman offered him the I'm sorry I cheated on you package, right? So it's like an arrangement of flowers that usually people buy when they cheated on their boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right. And so in this case, to cheat on means to see another person. So if you're married to a woman, seeing someone else, having a date or a romantic encounter with another person is cheating on your wife.
So you're cheating on your wife.
Right,
And you
to
use it
cheat
like
on.
this, cheat on, right?
Cheat on. So he cheated on her, or they were both cheating on each other.
Okay. So to cheat on, not a
Cheat
good
on.
thing.
Not a good thing.
All right. So he was explaining to her that wasn't enough. The arrangement wasn't enough. And he said, I don't think that's going to cut it.
Well, okay, you've probably heard the word cut before, but
Right.
in this case, Marco, we're talking about to be able to cut it. So that's not gonna cut it, or it's not gonna cut it.
It's not going to be enough.
Exactly. So that's not quite what I'm looking for. It's not enough. He wants bigger and better.
He wants more.
And so, for example, we could say, you know what? This dessert's not gonna cut it. We need something much fancier
Okay. So
to be good enough for.
to be good enough for. All right. Very good. And then he was explaining to the shop lady what happened. And he said, well, I accidentally insinuated.
Okay, to insinuate is to suggest. So I could say, hey, you're really chubby. That's not an insinuation,
Right.
that's a statement. But I could say, well, you're looking a little bit round at the sides. That's an insinuation because I'm suggesting it without saying something.
Right. So you're saying something indirectly, right?
Exactly.
And he was insinuating that his girlfriend was getting chubbier.
Chubby. So chubby, chubbier, chubbiest. In this case, we're talking about being round or a little bit overweight.
Right. So it's not really saying fat.
No, fat is rude.
Right.
Chubby is, it's in
Just
between.
a little bit extra pounds.
Yeah, like maybe you had a little bit too much ice cream over the past couple months.
All right. Very good. So why don't we listen to the dialogue for the last time and we'll be back.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations, and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right. So if you make a mistake, like as a guy, right, you give flowers to your girlfriend. What about women giving flowers to guys? Is that common? Do you think that's possible? Can you do that?
I'm sure you can do it, but I don't know if it's as common.
Like, I think as a guy, I wouldn't really feel comfortable receiving flowers.
Really?
I mean, I would be touched by the gesture and I would be like, oh, that's really sweet. But like
a little
flowers, it's a little bit too feminine, I think.
Generally, I think it's a one-sided thing. So you can get flowers for your mother, or you can get flowers for a friend, or if someone, passed away, you can get flowers for their family.
Right.
But in a romantic situation, rarely do you get flowers to a guy.
So if you want to say I'm sorry to a guy, what do you give him?
Season tickets to his favorite football
Ah,
team.
that works. Yeah.
or
like a game for his PlayStation.
a game
or
for his
something.
PlayStation, or offer him a new coat of paint on his car. I don't know.
Have you never given a gift to somebody, like saying I'm sorry?
No,
No, you don't make mistakes.
I like to use my words.
That's good. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Why do we do this though? Why do we give gifts to people as a token or as a demonstration of our regretfulness?
Well, can I get personal for a second? I just was thinking about this in terms of engagement. So why do people give a ring when they get engaged?
So it's
I
like
think it's
symbolic.
because people like things that glitter. You know, it's like distract the woman and she'll say yes. And so it's the similar thing with flowers and forgiveness. You say, "Oh gosh, these flowers are so beautiful. Oh, of course I forgive you. Oh, they're so pretty and they smell so." You know, it's just like it's like distraction from the matter at hand.
Right. Oh, maybe that's it.
I don't know. If you disagree with me, please.
It was a very
write us.
wise man who invented this.
Absolutely.
Hello, my friend. Before I begin, I want you to stop for a moment and think. What did you do with your day today? Did you learn something new? Did you move one small step toward your dream? Or did you just scroll, watch, and let the hours go away? I ask you this because I used to be that person, the one who thought life was long, time was plenty, and tomorrow was always waiting. But I was wrong. This is my story, and maybe it can change your life like it changed mine. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I want to tell you a story. This story is real. It is about something that changed my life. My name is John. I am 78 years old. When I was young, I didn't care about anything. I woke up late. I played games all day. I laughed a lot, but I learned nothing. I didn't read books. I didn't work. I didn't think about my future. Every day was the same. I was wasting time, but I didn't see it. Then one weekend, my uncle came to visit. He was quiet and serious. He sat down with me and looked into my eyes. I smiled, but he didn't smile back. He said, "Don't waste your time." Just that. Nothing more. No long talk, no big story. He stood up and walked away, but I couldn't forget his words. They stayed in my head like a song on repeat. For many days, I thought about his words. At first, I didn't care. I thought I had lots of time. But slowly, I started to feel different. I looked at my life. I saw how many hours I lost. I asked myself, what am I doing? I had no answer. I felt sad. I wanted to change. I wanted to use my time better. I didn't want to waste my life. So, I began with small steps. I started waking up early. I read 1 page of a book every day. I wrote down my thoughts in a notebook. I watched videos about learning. I asked people for advice. I tried new things. Some days were hard. I wanted to quit. But I remembered my uncle's words. They gave me power to keep going. Now I am older. I am not rich or famous, but I am proud. I use my time well. I learn new things. I help others, and I feel happy. All this started with one short sentence. Don't waste your time. That sentence changed my life, and maybe it can change your life too. So, listen to me. Don't wait. Don't be lazy. Start today. In the beginning, I didn't know how to change. I was still the same person. I was lazy. I didn't want to work hard. But I remembered what my uncle said, so I made a plan. It was a simple plan. I wrote 3 things on paper. Wake up early. Read every day and write 1 idea. That was my plan. I put the paper on my wall. I saw it every morning. It helped me start. Waking up early was not easy. The first week was very hard. I wanted to sleep more. My bed felt warm and soft. But I said no. I got up. I opened the window. I looked at the sky. I took a deep breath. The morning air felt new. It felt clean. My mind was quiet. I started to like mornings. They gave me energy. They made me feel strong inside. Reading was also a big change. I did not like books before. I thought they were boring, but I started with easy books. Just 1 page a day, then 2 pages, then 5. I read stories, I read facts. I read about people who worked hard and changed their lives. Those stories gave me hope. They showed me that small steps can build a better future. I wanted that future too. Writing was the hardest part. I didn't know what to write. My hand was slow. My words were simple, but I didn't stop. I wrote one small idea each day. Sometimes I wrote about my dreams, sometimes about my fears. Sometimes I just wrote a word, but I wrote. And that small habit helped me understand myself. It helped me see what I wanted from life. As the weeks passed, I felt proud. My life was still simple, but I was moving forward. My days were not wasted. I was learning. I was growing. I didn't feel lost anymore. I had a goal. I had a plan. And I had a reason to wake up. All this came from one moment, one visit, and one sentence from my uncle. Don't waste your time. I started to talk less and listen more. Before, I always wanted to speak. I wanted people to hear me. But now, I listened. I listened to people with experience. I listened to people with ideas. I watched how they lived. I saw how they worked hard. I learned from their stories. I saw that smart people don't waste time. They use time like gold. Every minute is important to them. I also stopped doing things that gave me nothing. I watched less TV. I used my phone less. I stayed away from people who only talked but never worked. They laughed all day but did nothing. I didn't want to be like them. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be better. So I made a new rule for myself. If something is not useful, I will not do it. That rule helped me stay focused. Soon, I began to see small changes. I was reading more. I was writing better. My ideas were clear. I started to understand myself. I knew what I wanted. I didn't feel lazy anymore. I felt strong. My time had meaning. I used to waste hours. Now, I used every hour for something good. That feeling was new to me and I liked it very much. One day, my uncle came to visit again. He looked at me and smiled. He didn't say much, but I think he saw the change in me. I told him what I was doing. I showed him my notebook. He nodded and said, "Good." That one word made me happy. I knew I was going the right way. His short sentence helped me find a better life. So, I say this to you now. You don't need to do big things. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move. Start small. Start now. Listen to the right people. Make good habits. Use your time for learning, not for wasting. If you do that, your life will start to change too. Just like mine did. Some days were still hard. I woke up and didn't feel strong. I didn't want to read or write. I felt tired. I felt bored. But I told myself, keep going. I remembered my uncle's voice. I said the words again. Don't waste your time. That sentence became my guide. It helped me stand up when I wanted to quit. It helped me try again when I failed. I made a list of dreams. I wrote down 5 things I wanted to do. They were simple dreams. I wanted to finish a book. I wanted to learn a skill. I wanted to speak better. I wanted to help someone. I wanted to feel proud of my work. I looked at that list every day. It gave me direction. It gave me a reason to wake up early and use my time well. I also started to help other people. I saw that many were like me before. They felt lost. They wasted time. So I talked to them. I shared my story. I told them about my uncle. I said the same words to them. Don't waste your time. Some listened, some laughed. But I kept sharing. I knew that even one sentence can open a door in someone's mind. With time, I felt more confident. I started doing new things. I joined a class. I learned from teachers. I met people who wanted to grow. They helped me learn faster. We shared ideas. We studied together. Being around the right people helped me a lot. I didn't feel alone anymore. I felt like I was part of something bigger. Looking back now, I feel thankful. I am thankful for my uncle. I am thankful for his words. I am thankful that I changed. Life is not always easy, but when we use time well, life becomes better. We become stronger. We become wiser. And we feel more alive. That is what I want you to feel too. I want you to know something important. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the best. You only need to try. Trying is enough. Many people wait for the perfect time. But the perfect time does not come. The best time is now. Even if you are not ready, start now. Take one small step. That step can lead to a big change later. I was not smart when I started. I was not strong. I didn't know many things. But I used what I had. Time. Time is free, but it is also the most valuable thing. You can lose money and make it again, but you cannot get your time back. Once it is gone forever. That is why I protect my time now. I don't let people or things waste it. I also learned to enjoy simple things. I didn't need to travel far. I didn't need to buy expensive things. I found joy in learning. I felt happy after reading one good page. I smiled after writing one clear sentence. I felt proud when I helped a friend. These small things gave me peace. They gave me meaning. They helped me stay on the right path. But I didn't listen. I knew what I was doing. I knew where I was going. I didn't want their life. I wanted something better. I wanted to grow. So I stayed quiet and kept working. My time was too important for useless talk. Now, I want to ask you a question. What are you doing with your time? Are you building something? Are you learning something? Or are you wasting your days? Be honest with yourself. Your answer can show you your future. If you don't like your answer, then change it. You can start today just like I did. If you are still here listening to this story, I want to thank you. It means you care. It means you want to learn. That is a good sign. You are already better than the person who does nothing. Many people never try. They waste time and make excuses. But not you. You stayed, you listened, and maybe, just maybe, you are ready to change your life too. You don't need to be fast. You don't need to be great on day one. All you need is to begin. Set one small goal. Wake up early, read one page, write one idea, help one person. Repeat it every day. Don't stop. Some days will be easy, some will be hard, but every small step moves you forward. And that is how real change begins. Sometimes you'll feel tired. You will feel slow. Now that's okay. Rest, but don't quit. Take a deep breath. Look at how far you've come. Think about your dreams. Think about your future. Then stand up again. Do one small thing. That one thing is enough. Over time, all those small things become big progress. You will be proud of yourself. I still remember my uncle's voice. It was calm but strong. Don't waste your time, he said. I didn't understand it then, but now I do. His words were a gift, a short sentence but full of power. It changed me. It gave me a new life. I hope it can help you too. Maybe my voice can be a reminder now, just like his voice was mine. So, this is my last message to you. Use your time well. Time is your best friend. It is also your biggest test. Don't throw it away. Use it to learn, to grow, to become better. One day you will look back and smile. You will thank yourself for starting, and maybe you will share your story too with someone who needs it. Time is free, but it is priceless. You can lose money and earn it again, but you can never earn back your time. So use it well. Protect it. Respect it. Because one day, when you look back, you will thank yourself. You will smile and say, I did not waste my life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very weather-focused lesson. It's all about all the horrible things that can happen to you with the weather.
Exactly. So as you know, there are many different types of weather, and not only rain or sunshine, but many other phenomena. So we're going to take a look at some of those. But before we go into it, let's take a look at one word on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Okay, so we're talking about extreme weather today. That's not rain or drizzle or sunshine. We're talking about really interesting, unique, and sometimes devastating things that can happen. So today's vocabulary word is Armageddon.
All right, so Armageddon. Now, you've probably seen the movie Armageddon. So what does this word mean?
Okay, so this word is a reference to the end of the world. It means the time when the world will end because of a great catastrophe or a great disaster.
Okay, so everyone talks about Armageddon. It's mentioned in the Bible. And as you say, it's when the world stops existing.
Exactly. So think about that one as we listen to today's dialogue. We will be back in a minute to talk about what's going on.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob. All right, we're back, and well, this weather report is not really far from the truth. I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day all over the world, right?
That's correct. And unfortunately, it's been happening very frequently in the past couple months. We've heard of a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. So this is very valuable stuff when you're trying to talk about current events as well.
Okay. So why don't we start now analyzing a couple of different words and phrases on language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Well, the first vocabulary item we have here is meteorological event. It's a real mouthful. It's a long word.
Meteorological.
So, for example, meteorological means having to do with the weather, something that's related to the weather. So, a meteorological event could be rain, snow.
Okay, so it has to do with meteorology.
Meteorology is the study of the weather, and someone who does this is a meteorologist.
So usually the weathermen that you see on TV, they're meteorologists.
So let's go now to Marco, our resident meteorologist.
There we go.
Our resident meteorologist.
Right, okay. So meteorological events. Now moving on, one of the first events that we're going to look at is an avalanche.
Avalanche. An avalanche has to do with snow. This means that when a mountain that has a lot of snow on it maybe part of that snow breaks off and starts to roll down. You have a wall of snow that comes down. That's an avalanche.
That's an avalanche.
So you could say avalanche. And the snow comes down. And it's actually very dangerous because people can get buried under the snow.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So another event that has to do with snow is a blizzard.
Okay, a blizzard is different from an avalanche because an avalanche, maybe it's not snowing, the snow just falls. But in a blizzard, you're talking about a storm of snow.
But it's like a lot of snow coming down from the sky.
So much snow that you probably can't see anything. There's just white everywhere.
Okay. All right. So that's a blizzard. A lot of snow coming down from the sky. Now, moving on, the opposite of snow and things being wet is we have a drought.
Yeah, this is the opposite of wet, actually. So there's no rain in a drought. A drought means that things are very dry. The land is very dry.
Okay, so it's a period of time that there's no snow, there's no water, there's no rain, there's nothing. It's very, very dry. We're going through a drought.
Correct. And the problem with a drought is very dangerous is because people cannot grow food in a drought. And so lots of people starve when this happens.
Okay, so you got to watch out for a drought. Now, in this case, it not only affected farming, but also we have a hydroelectric power plant that can't work, obviously, because there's no water.
So hydro means water. Hydroelectric means electricity that is generated by flowing water. And so, for example, a mill, something that churns water on a river is a way to get power from water. But
Right.
a hydroelectric project that can give you electricity is maybe like a dam or an electric mill.
Right. So usually you have these on rivers and they just take advantage of the flowing of water to turn some huge turbines and generate power. So that's all we have for now. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again? And we'll be back shortly to take a look at some more words.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
Well, a word that many people are unfortunately familiar with is Richter or Richter scale. And now this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now because of the earthquake in Sichuan, China last year, and the earthquake in Haiti very recently. And so the Richter scale, that's a big R because it's a proper name, is a way for us to determine how severe, how big the earthquake was.
Right, so people talk about a 6.0, a 7.1, so that's on the Richter scale.
The lowest is 0 and the highest is 10, correct?
Right, but 10 is like impossible, apparently.
Apparently, and a lot of them are actually underwater, but the very serious ones are maybe 8.0, 7.0.
All right, so Richter scale. Now, we talked about earthquakes, we talked about snowing. Now, let's talk about a volcano. A volcano in Mexico has erupted.
Okay, so we've got two words here, volcano. A volcano is a mountain that has an opening in the center where lava from the middle of the earth, the center of the earth, can come out. So it's very dangerous, obviously, because it's very hot.
Right.
But a volcano doesn't open, it erupts. So the verb here that we use with a volcano is to erupt.
Okay, so it doesn't explode. a volcano erupts?
That means to open violently, very quickly.
Okay. So when this happens, obviously you have a lot of lava, you have maybe snow that melts, and you have floods and landslides.
Okay, landslides. A landslide is one word, but it's made up of two words that you probably already know. So land, obviously, it's the ground and
the
things
earth.
like that, the earth. But a slide is to move down across the ground. And so a landslide happens when you've got something like lava or water that's pushing all of the earth, all of the ground down, and it's destroying houses and trees and land, and it's very, very destructive.
Right. So you usually see this that happens on the side of mountains or on the side of hills where all that land starts to slide down or to go down. And it's very similar to an avalanche, right? But instead of snow falling down, it's land.
Mud and land.
Mud, yeah. All right. So we have a landslide. And because of all the eruptions and the earthquakes, they said that they have a lot of seismic activity.
This word seismic is something that I've heard a lot recently in movies like 2012.
Yeah.
So seismic means having to do with the movement of the plates under the Earth's crust. So, you know, the Earth is not everything that we see. It's also activity, things happening underneath the ground.
Right.
And so underneath the ground, we have these big plates, and seismic activity is what happens when these kind of things start to move. Activity is movement. And so seismic activity refers to earthquakes and volcanoes, things that are changing under the ground that will affect us.
Okay. So that's seismic activity. It's pronounced seismic, right?
Seismic, that's
Seismic.
correct.
Okay. And because of all this activity, people say that they may have a tsunami.
Well, this doesn't sound very English, does it?
I know, tsunami. And actually, if you see the spelling, it's with a T, T-S.
Right, I think it's a Japanese word, but I'm not
I
positive.
think so too.
Tsunami is the name that we give to a giant tidal wave. So that's a wave of water in the ocean that's very, very dangerous because it can get to 100, 200 feet tall. And this means that when it comes down, it can destroy houses, cities, cars, things like that.
Right.
And there was a very, very famous tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and in Indonesia, right?
That's right, in Indonesia and Thailand and Vietnam.
Yeah, it was intense. It was big. And it was also because of an earthquake, right?
I think so. All these earthquakes, they move the earth around, and then all of a sudden the reaction is that there's water that moves,
This
and the water
huge wave.
then turns into a wave.
Yeah, just imagine what happens if you have a bucket of water and then you start moving the bucket just a little bit and you see how it just water starts to splat all over the place.
That's right.
All right, so tsunami was our last word for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
So, Marco, these are all pretty terrifying. Have you ever experienced a meteorological event like one of the ones that we talked about today?
I've actually lived it through like 3 earthquakes, like pretty big ones.
Well, that's because you used to live in Los
In
Angeles.
LA. So we get them all the time in LA. Apart from that, I've seen a volcano erupt a couple of times because Ecuador is part of the volcano alley, right? It's all the Andes mountains, and it's part of the circle of fire, what they call. So we have a couple of different active volcanoes, and from time to time they will start to smoke or to spew some lava, but nothing major. Like, there hasn't been a major catastrophe with the volcanoes. Hopefully it won't either.
Well, and these days they have a lot of equipment, seismic equipment and meteorological equipment that can help meteorologists to determine when things will happen, like when a volcano will erupt or if there will be an earthquake, because they can study the tremors in the ground.
Right. Yeah, and I think probably the most famous volcano is, I think it was in Italy, right? Mount Vesuvius.
That's right. So you've got Mount Vesuvius in Naples, which famously destroyed a number of cities in this ancient civilization and ancient
What is a major
Roman times.
eruption?
It was, and what's amazing is that they still have a lot of the buildings
Underground,
under
right?
the ash.
Wow.
Because when all the ash settled, it preserved the bodies like a mummy.
That's
and so you
crazy.
can see the bodies and the things that they, their jewelry and their money, and it's fascinating because it's this horrible, horrible natural disaster actually helped us in the future learn about this old civilization.
Yeah. It's crazy. Actually, in Ecuador, you can see a huge hole that has like a lake in the middle. And you're like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. But that's actually caused because the entire mountain just kind of blew the top off, like the cone, because of this major eruption. So you can just imagine how powerful these eruptions are. I can just imagine what it would have been like Mount Vesuvius. But anyway, on a brighter note, if you have any questions, any comments, or any stories of your own, maybe you've lived through a typhoon, a hurricane, a tornado, you can come to our website, englishpod.com.
We hope to see you there.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Great snow. Blizzard. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity.
Let's try that faster.
A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity. Great snow. Blizzard. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Blizzard.
With the blizzard came strong gusts of wind, freezing temperatures, and near zero visibility because of all the blowing snow.
Blizzard.
The blizzard warning will remain in effect until tomorrow morning, when the winds will die down to about 30 kilometers per hour.
Blizzard.
If you really need to venture out into that blizzard with your car, you are going to have to go at a crawl because of the near whiteout conditions and the danger of drifting.
Drought.
The lack of rain in the spring and the above average temperatures caused a drought in the late summer.
Drought.
We have to start conserving water because of the drought.
Drought.
For about half a decade in the 1930s, the prairies in Canada and the United States experienced a severe drought, during which there were numerous dust storms, and the land became a wasteland.
Hurricane.
Several mudslides occurred in this region shortly after the hurricane passed through.
Hurricane.
North Atlantic hurricanes are formed off the tip of Africa, build as they travel across the Atlantic Ocean, and then finally hit the Caribbean and the southern United States at full force.
Hurricane.
The weather became very calm all of a sudden, and we knew that the eye of the hurricane was passing over us.
Seismic activity.
He measured the earthquakes using a seismograph and noticed the increase in seismic activity.
Seismic activity.
Seismic activity can cause new land masses to form and the destruction of others.
Seismic activity.
The seismic activity caused earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and multiple tsunamis.
Tsunami.
When there is a massive earthquake on the ocean floor, a lot of water is displaced, forming a tsunami as this water travels towards land.
Tsunami.
The Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004 was caused by one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded.
Tsunami.
She looked out over the land, still flooded in areas by water left by the tsunami that had ravaged her home just days before.